Bronze and Modern Gods. I'm John.
I'm Richard.
Hey, everybody. I've read something, Richard, that, the first minute of your podcast is the most important, and you should not waste time introducing yourself or having idle chit chat or anything like that, because no one's interested in it and they just want to hear what you have to say the first minute. So I've already wasted the first 30 seconds.
Our whole show is idle chit chat.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I can see where the person saying it is coming from, but we would like to have a little relationship with you guys. Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great week.
Yeah. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods. One thing you can do to help us is like this video and subscribe and hit notifications if you have not already. You know how it goes. We've got underrated books of the week, some good ones this week. Going back to 1984 for the old fart rule. We've got our viewer mail and our hot book of the week. Richard, I thought of you. What is it?
Hot book this week is Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime, the 1 in 50 variant by J. Scott Campbell. This is a rare J. Scott Campbell that is a male main figure.
That's why we just talked about this. And this is the test for you, true test for you, J. Scott Campbell fans, including Richard. Do you want this? Do you have any interest in this? That's a no.
Not really.
That's a long-winded no.
It's a long-winded no, yes. But then again, even all of his sexy covers, I'm not interested in. It takes a certain panache for me to actually collect J. Scott Campbell stuff.
It is selling for almost a little bit, well, not almost, over a ratio. It's selling for about $60 on eBay right now for high-grade copies. I will say the Mona Lisa painting, the sexy Mona Lisa duck painting in the corner is a nice touch.
No, it's a well composited cover. I like it. Am I going to pay $60 for it? Probably not.
Yeah, who's buying this? Why is this hot? You guys tell us. You J. Scott Campbell fans, are you into this? Because variance ratios, they're kind of not a thing anymore. I hope you guys are buying smart. If you like it and you truly want to display it, that's one thing. If you're investing in it, Richard, we have a cautionary tale for everyone. Did you see Heritage Auctions this weekend?
Heritage had some really interesting gems. One of them being Ultimate Fallout #4, the Djurjevic variant, a 9.8, which at one point was knocking on the door of $50,000 for a copy. Sold on June 22nd for $9,300.
That's ouch.
How the mighty have fallen. I think it's just the malaise in Marvel movie properties right now that's help pulling this down. The next Spider-Verse movie, I think will have a little bit of a rebound for this book, but yeah, I think the days of this thing being a mid 5-figure book are gone.
What do you have?
I have a 9.6.
Okay. Yeah. Can you imagine paying 10 grand for this, 9 grand for this even?
No.
Could you imagine paying 9,300 for it 2 years ago?
2 years ago? No. Still no.
You still wouldn't have done it.
No.
Interesting.
I like the book. But again, I've had a 9.8 of this book. I bought all 6 on eBay. I bought all 6 books from a Canadian seller for $458.
Oh my God.
Pressed the 9.8, pressed the 4, came back a 9.8. I sold it for $2,500. Said I was, hot stuff. But yeah, no, I've had a 9.8 of this. The 9.6 I have is a side 9.6, and I'm good. I am a collector in this. I'm not a speculator for this particular book. But yeah, $9,300 probably is more of an accurate price for this book. It's hard to get a 9.8 because that spine is really tough, that dark spine. But yeah, still, I'd rather take my $9,300 and put it into some golden age book at this point.
Can I be provocative?
Sure.
I think 9,300 is too much.
Yeah, I could see that.
I still think it's overpriced. It's from 2011. I mean, is it truly rare? Is it truly rare?
Yeah. I think in just like ASM 300, ASM 300 is not a rare book.
No, it's the most submitted book for CGC, period.
Right. Even in 9.8, it's not that rare. It's the perception of the book, which gives it, its value. And I think this book is suffering from, again, that malaise that Disney properties are suffering from right now, from just bad management, in my opinion, and of the IPs that Disney is in charge of. It's pretty sad.
Could you get a nice low grade, more fun 52 for 9,300? I don't know if you could.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. First of all, all right, let's get really into it. Last week, Nvidia stock split. I would buy Nvidia stock.
Yeah, my buddy has a bunch of Nvidia stock. He's got his chest puffed out because it split 10 ways, and so now he has 10 times the number of stock, and it's already going back up again.
Yeah,
So,
but keep in mind, he has 10 times the number of stock. He does not have 10 times the revenue.
no, but it's
It's,
the same thing when Apple splits or Microsoft splits. It'll end up back at the number.
right.
Those are all blue chip tech stocks.
Yeah,
Diverging.
I've been so good with comics outpacing my ETF and stock revenue. And now my ETF stuff is starting to outpace my comics, which is like, oh
That's why
shoot,
it's a long term investment.
yeah, is it time to sell stuff? I don't know. You have brought something else up from Heritage that is near and dear to your heart, probably more than Miles.
Yeah, Black Cat number 50. This is the original artwork.
How does it exist?
That's what I wanted to know. Shout out to Swaggle House. I had missed this in Heritage Auctions this weekend. He had this listed as one of his features, so I'm giving him credit for me discovering this. But yeah, this is Black Hat 50. For those who haven't seen it, it is the famous radium cover where the guy's on the cover and he's got radium in his hand and his face is melting off. It's pretty gory for a cover from the 1950s. But it's beautiful. I mean, in black and white, I think is just as striking as it is in color. But yeah, how did this cover survive for all these years? And it looks to be in great condition.
Lee Elias, the artist, he was around through the 70s. He drew the Human Fly for Marvel.
Okay.
The same guy that drew this cover drew the Human Fly after Frank Robbins retired. So maybe Lee Elias saved it. He liked it. He was proud of it. He got it back from Harvey.
Well,
Yeah,
there's a payday on it. This cover went for $850,000, outpacing the Detective Comics 27 that was people were eyeballing as being the highest priced book. But yeah,
I'm really hoping his family is a state.
they
So
made it. Yeah,
I hope a private collector didn't have. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not that I hope a private collector didn't make out, but it would be nice if the Elias estate got something from this.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, if I had the means, I definitely would have bought this. I think this is one of those covers. The opportunity to buy it is so rare that when it actually does come up, you make the investment. I don't think we'll see this particular cover show up again for a while.
It's history. It's a piece of Americana. I mean, it really is. This is 1950s Americana, like it or not. And Nicolas Cage, is that you? Does he have?
Hey Nick, if it's yours, come on the show. Show
Yeah,
it.
really. I tell everybody how I bought books from your collection after you got divorced from what's her name, and you had to make some money. All right. Speaking of books that we have that we're proud of, that we're investing in, and we're holding on to, it is show and tell. Me, 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 me. Show and tell. I don't have a theme except for books I love. I mean, I love them all. But Richard, have I shown this before? Captain America 73?
No, I don't think he's shown that one. No.
From 1949, right near the end of the run. In fact, it's the third to last issue, if you want to count issue 75, which was Captain America's Weird Tales, which, doesn't have any Captain America in it. It's all horror stories. This is 73, and it's obviously a horror themed cover, as Cap is, I don't know, is he drowning in tar? And there's weird people with their arms as candles, and one of them's like a early American soldier. I have no idea what's going on. I've read the story. The story tangentially is related to the cover. I think it's about uh, a criminal who gets hypnotized and has these visions. I can't even tell you or describe what this is. But a nice 4.0,
Yeah.
old slab, cream off-white pages, Golden Girls in it.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many of those books from that era are ended up in Europe and are in, you know, chests undiscovered because GIs took them over.
Oh, well, this is 49. So
Oh,
you
I thought
think
you said 43. I'm
no,
sorry.
49. So
But
you wouldn't
still,
have.
you would still there's still a US presence in Europe at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is just amazing. I wish I had the next issue. The one with the Red Skull, classic Red
Oh,
Skull
oh yeah.
cover,
Oh yeah.
which I used to have. I used to have a 2.5. You guys have heard my heartbreaking story. I was so I was like earlier you were talking about selling your Ultimate Fallout 4 for 2,500. I got 3,600 for my Captain America
Yeah.
74.
Mm.
What's your first book?
My first book is X-23 number 12.
Oh,
This is from the 2018 run, which is the third series. I just love this cover. She is such a unique character, and this is an amazing. I forget who the artist for this is. Um, Tamaki, I believe.
it's when you need a slab label to tell you.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I know I probably won't ever get this slab. I like the runs, but I don't like them enough to pay CGC or CBCS for the privilege of putting in a slab. So
We've talked about my latest CGC submissions and how they came back, I
mhm.
believe. Uh, Guys, if you want some gift grades, do it now. Send them in. It's Christmas over there. I don't know what's going on. Four color comics, 878. This is, you know what? Let me cheat a little bit. Usually members only get to see me use my cheaters. Okay. This is Peanuts number one.
Oh, okay.
4.5. Off white to white pages. This is considered Peanuts number one. It's actually four color, uh,
Mhm.
878. You can see the note here, Peanuts number one. So when they picked up, I think they picked up the numbering with issue four. I think there were three four color Peanuts issues, and then they just started the numbering with Peanuts number four. And there it is, early Peanuts.
Yeah, I
Uh,
thought I had one of those.
what's that?
I thought I had one of those.
No, you tell everybody what happened.
Oh, I was digging through bins and I came across one for $20. Looked exactly like that. $20 I paid immediately and got it home and then I sent a picture to John, and John said, "Close but no cigar."
Yeah, they started it over and reprinted uh, a second series of Peanuts, reprinting these, and this was the cover to the reprint of issue
Mm.
one. So technically, you do have a Peanuts one, but it's not the Peanuts one. And some of these have ads on the back, and some of them have editorial. This has an extra editorial one. So weird Dells that have variants with ads.
Does Lucy have the creepy eyes on that on the
No,
top?
this is post. This is post creepy Lucy. She's back to normal. She's with Schroeder. This is 58, so this is a few years into the Peanuts run, and it's nice. It's a nice 4.5. I forget where I got this. I think I got this at a convention years ago. I think I paid like what you're saying, like $20 for it or something, but it was years and years and years ago. Because I'm old. All right.
Well, the next book I have, this is something I got from you actually.
Oh,
It is Lobo number 2.
ah,
Yep. I've been looking for the Lobo series. There's only 2 books in this series. Book number 1 and book number 2. It ceased production after book number 2. So this is the first African American superhero, and here he's fighting some guy. I'm not sure. I have never read this story, to be honest with you.
it's the first African American solo title.
Oh, solo title. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Uh, and yeah, so I have number 2. thanks to John, I do not have a number one yet. I haven't found one that is in the price range that I'm willing to pay. But you know me. I collect comic Americana, African Americana comic books, and this is one of the big ones that's out there in terms of recognition.
You gonna look for a number one at San Diego?
I'm always looking for a number one. I'm
Yeah.
looking for a number one black man as well.
Yeah.
If
Do you
I
remember
also
how I do you
realize,
remember where I told you I got that?
no.
It was on eBay. There was a lot of Western comics, and there was a Rawhide Kid and Two Gun Kid, and I think it was like about 13 books. And excuse me, the pictures were not very illustrative, but there was a Rawhide Kid one that I needed that was on the top of this little pile. And I thought, I've got nothing to lose. I'm not getting outbid here by much. And I need that Rawhide Kid, and it looks nice. And so I get it, and it's a bunch of like trashed Westerns. And then that Lobo 2 was just like slipped in there. I was like,
Wow, that's awesome.
I'll take it. So that was a good one. That was back when you can get lucky on eBay. You really can't get lucky like that anymore. You guys are too knowledgeable. We're telling you too much.
You got to be fast.
Yeah, we gotta stop sharing all our secrets. Speaking of getting lucky, I bought this. Oh gosh, 2011, 2010 ish, maybe even earlier, 2006, 2007. I paid $45 for it. I think from Harley Yee, maybe, or Terry's Comics. And I thought I overpaid, but I was like, I never see this. I want it. And it came back after I slapped it as a 5.0. Foxhole number one.
Oh, you bastard.
I love telling that story. I don't tell it to Harley or Terry.
Hmm.
Tell it to you guys. But nobody was looking for this book back then.
Yeah.
It was an yeah.
For the podcast people, Foxhole number one is a famous cover, wartime cover. It's got a man with his face all bandaged up and his helmet on, and he's got this 20,000 yard stare. It's an iconic cover, and for $45, John stole it.
Yeah, and I have one, two, three, six.
Uh,
I need a five, and
what there was one that was just on Heritage, wasn't it? You were showing.
no, it was on eBay,
Oh, it was on
and
eBay. Okay.
it's been relisted. I sent it to you. I texted you and our friend Forrest. Somebody has a 6.0 up on eBay, and the asking price is $9,900. I thought mistakenly somebody was bidding it up, and then it was going to end in a few hours. So I was waiting to see if it's going to hit 10K.
Mhm.
But then I got my notification. I'm like, oh, why is it relisted? And then I went back and looked at it. Oh, yeah, that was the asking. I thought it was bid up. I didn't read it closely enough. But I have a 5.0.
Yeah, that is a great book.
This is one of the, like you say, cold dead hands. That's how you're going to get this one out of me. Unless, you've got some NVIDIA shares you want.
We'll sell for Nvidia shares.
Yes. What do you got?
My last book is simply Something is Killing the Children. This is not number one. This is the foil edition. This came out much later than the original number one. Uh, it's this is one of those books I bought for completion's sake. I have all the different prints of this book and the foil, and they seem to keep churning these things out. But it's a great story. It would really be cool to see this on the screen in some form or fashion. Um, I heard there were options rumored for this. I wish it would happen. For those who haven't read it, it's all about monsters that kill children and the people who hunt them. And
It's going round and round. Nothing's really happening. And I keep seeing the reason why I'm bringing this up is this reminds me it's a very similar book. Do you know Department of Truth number one is supposedly trending again?
really,
Yeah, I saw it on, everybody's favorite key collector site is trending. And I'm thinking, I can't get rid of mine. Who's buying these? There where it's trending.
they're good stories. Both the Department of Truth and Something is Killing the Children. I to me, you can't keep a good story down. At some point, somebody's going to use it for something.
It doesn't hurt. I mean, that's what you're investing in. Really, is it a strong property that people are going to want to learn more about and see on the big screen?
But we just need, as we collectively have to learn how to make movies that people want to watch again. I think we've lost that art.
You and I collectively.
Yes.
My studio. Speaking of our studio and how you can help support us, you can help us support the show by being a member here on YouTube. Before I go into my usual spiel, because I know I say the same thing every week, Richard, how would you describe the members only shows?
They are quite loose. It's a friendly chat. If you had a fireside chat, if John and I were sitting in the same room, we're shooting the stuff. It's that kind of conversation. Sometimes we talk about music, sometimes we talk about movies. We always talk about comics, but it's always things that we find interesting, and we talk with the audience and get feedback on, and they help shape the conversation. But it's definitely a more back and forth conversation than the main show is.
Yeah, the Wednesday show is a little more traditional. You guys are used to. There's a show and tell that's exclusive for members. There is members only viewer mail. It is the Thursday live stream that is pretty rollicking, and we've got just under 100 people now that come in and out. And first we were talking about concerts and music. We thought, hey, people are going to hate this, and some people probably do, but the vast majority of people are like, keep talking about music. You get shout outs like this. Look at the names.
Thank you, everybody.
$2.99 a month. $2.99 a month, Richard. That is if you like us, that's a bargain, I suppose. If you don't, don't spend it. Hit join. It's right next to the subscribe button. And if you're on the podcast platform of your choice, you got to come over to YouTube and join. We truly, truly appreciate every single one of you. And even the people that are here on the free tier, as we call it, the free tier, we appreciate you too. And we get your mails and your comments, and we answer them in a segment we call Viewer Mail.
You've got mail.
My first piece of viewer mail comes from our buddy, Ariel Estandarte, John and Richard. I wanted to join in on the conversation about coverless books. A buddy of mine found a Wonder Woman 30 in a thrift shop hanging in a plastic bag for $60, and I told him to buy it. He sort of knows comics, but he doesn't know how to inspect them. Anywho, I figured I'd roll the dice and get it. When I received it, I noticed it was an intact cover of Wonder Woman 30, loosely wrapped around a copy of WoW Comics number 32 from 1945. My question is, should I search for a coverless Wonder Woman 30 and marry it to cover and send it to get slabbed, or is it just a waste of time? I've never found a somewhat intact cover before of a book that old. As always, love the show and can't wait to hear what you have to say. Richard, you first.
Oh boy. I am typically not a fan of coverless books, but it sounds like you're not looking to just, you're looking for this for your collection. So if that's the case, yeah, see if you can find a coverless book. They're going to be tough to find because a lot of people will find coverless books, seeing that they're incomplete, and will toss them. Hopefully, you come across someone who has kept one of those books, the Wonder Woman 30, and if you can find it for a reasonable price, absolutely buy it. See, you'll end up with a purple label from our. Will it be a purple label from CGC, or is it going to be just
restored? It would be restored.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're a Mary Kit cover.
Mary cover. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead,
Richard, you ignorant slut. Ariel, it's a waste of time.
I don't know if he wants, if this is for his PC, it's never a waste of time.
He's saying he wants to search for a coverless Wonder Woman 30 to match the cover and get it slabbed. That smells to me like a quest to flip, unless you love Wonder Woman. It's not really a key.
No. If you're looking to flip it, then I agree with John. It's not worth it. But if you collect Wonder Woman, and you want to get into collecting Golden Age Wonder Woman cheaply, this is a good way of doing it.
Go on the CGC forums and start a thread in the Golden Age forum. I've got a coverless Wonder Woman 30 and share it with everybody. And anybody got or a cover rather. Anybody got a coverless one they want to swap? Maybe they'll swap you for your WoW comics with Mary Marvel.
That's perfect.
There might be a Mary Marvel person, and then you both make out. That would be my suggestion. What
Okay,
is your first piece of viewer mail?
sounds reasonable. My first piece was from Zach Brobst. Prost. Sorry again. Sorry, Zach. Infamous. This is we were talking about Infamous Iron Man #1. Infamous Iron Man #1 introduced the Tony Stark AI, and that was the significance of that book. And John
NVIDIA?
has it right. Probst is pronounced Prost. Like I never watched Survivor, so I apologize.
Jeff Probst, who also hosted Rock and Roll Jeopardy, members are laughing right now.
Okay, I I'm so sorry, Zach. I really am.
No, they're laughing because of the Rock and Roll Jeopardy reference. If you were
Yeah,
on,
you get to watch when you're part of the members only. You get to watch John's TV debut. It was amazing. The Wolvie Deadpool cover in their undies is definitely worth a pickup, and I definitely jumped on the new Ghost Spider set when it hit his website. Love me some Spider Gwen. Yeah. I can't wait for the movie. He's talking about the Wolvie Deadpool cover that was on J. Scott Campbell's site. Was it J? Yes, J.
yeah,
Scott Campbell's site. So if you want a copy of that, there may be copies available. If not, you'll have to end up on eBay. J. Scott stuff goes quick. Um, People collect it, and it's amazing. So, yep. Thank you, Zach. Again, I apologize for taking your name and just butchering it to little pieces.
Tony Stark AI uses NVIDIA semiconductors. Just so you
It
want to know.
probably does. I think everything is going to Nvidia is going to end up being the Westinghouse of the next decade.
I, for one, look forward to serving my NVIDIA overlords. My next piece of viewer mail comes from our buddy Shrews Clues, John. Hi, folks. Do either of you have a recommendation on where I should look to find out more info about an oddball booklet that I recently got with a stack of ash cans in an auction last week? It's a small Gilbert Hernandez Crime Stoppers sketch comic
Oh,
from
cool.
San Diego, 2002, limited to 30 copies, all signed by him. Here is a picture. I
Oh,
checked the CGC forum and found someone else asking the same question about a year ago, but no one seemed to have any helpful information. Are there other resources you might recommend? The great gods of Google seem to be of little help. Thank you in advance, Shrews.
hmm.
I know you like this. I
Yeah,
know it.
sure. I would recommend Jaime Hernandez is on Instagram, and you might want to reach out to him and ask him if how to get in contact with his brother and ask him for more information. I think this is one of those things that he may be interested in sharing. So yeah, reach out to one of the Hernandez brothers because I think this is pretty cool.
It's one of those homemade fanzine ash can kind of things. It's unique. It's really cool. I'm sure there are Gilbert fans out there that,
Mhm.
psychodrama still being published. I mean, there are Gilbert hardcores that would want this. Uh, you know, Richard and I, unfortunately, are Jaime guys. Um,
Yeah, but the Palomar storyline was this is just amazing. He's yeah,
you're more of a Gilbert guy than I am.
yeah. You could probably say that.
But you can see the just the influences just oozing out of this cover, the Ditko-isms, the
Yeah,
Infantino 60s. uh, I love it. It's really cool curio. I wish we had more info for you, but unfortunately we don't.
yeah, definitely.
All right, what you got?
My last piece is from Star Trek Stew. Love the name.
Mhm.
Thanks for cheering up about our hobby and another great episode. My LCS has just announced its closing. Oh, I'm sorry
Oh
to hear that.
jeez.
The owner has put his heart and soul into the business, but unfortunately, the Australian economy is not traveling well, especially around discretionary spending. The distributor shipping wars slash split has not helped international comic shops either.
Mm-mm.
Support your LCS. You will miss them when they are gone. On a lighter note, it was TV comics more than movie comics that got me into the hobby. Favorites being Gold Key Dell photo covers, Green Hornet, Get Smart, and Star Trek at the top. Those are all great books. I am I'm trying to do a Star Trek run because those covers are so amazing. Those photo covers. But Get Smart is also a good book. Green Hornet is something that I have not thought about in years.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee was, yes, it was Kato on the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are all great gateway drugs to getting into the hobby, and there's a lot of nostalgia behind those. I hope you've got your set of Star Trek stew, and if so, send us some pictures.
Where are you at in Australia, Stu? Because we have quite a few viewers that live down under. We've got still only 35 cents. He's in Melbourne. We've got Alan, the Gold Key kid from down under, who's probably has a Star Trek run as well. So yeah, we've got one viewer that lives in Perth, I believe, that we've mentioned before. What was your LCS? And is there any mail order alternative in Australia?
I have to imagine any U.S. mail order has to be pretty expensive to get something down there.
Yeah, is there anything local, like a Sydney equivalent of Midtown Comics or something? I just wonder.
Don't forget Charlie Dog. Charlie Dog.
Yeah, Charlie Dog for sure. Any of you Aussies down there that can give him some advice, let us know while we hop into our TARDIS, set the controls not to the heart of the sun, but to 1984 for the old fart roll. Yes. Have you watched Doctor Who?
I have not.
They got me.
Why?
Oh, it was so good. I can't tell you it's a spoiler. It's a massive, massive
Let me
spoiler.
ask you this: can I start at this new Doctor's appearance?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you really want to, it's not a big deal to start with the Christmas specials from late last year. Start there.
Okay.
Because you got David Tennant. He's bringing you back in. David, nice and safe, warm hug of David Tennant. And then you transition into the new guy.
Okay.
And the first two episodes are rough going. I almost gave up. And then I stuck around. If you are an old school Tom Baker fan, you absolutely need to hit the 2-part finale.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's all I'm going to say. You Whovians, agree or disagree with me in the comments, please, while we talk about Micronauts, the new voyages. I loved the original Micronauts series.
Yes, I love the toys.
This, not so much. This was the relaunch of the long-running original Micronauts series, which came back to regular newsstands after being a direct sales title for half of its original run. I think it went direct sales with issue 34. It ran to issue 58 or so. And this is the end of Bill Mantlo being the sole writer of the Micronauts. So they relaunch with this excellent Michael Golden cover. They get Michael Golden to come back to Micronauts and do this cover. Look at this cover, Richard.
It's great. Yeah.
That's the Micronauts, right? I don't know who that Huntar guy is, and I don't care. But everybody else, you got Microtron, Biotron, Bug, Marionette, Commander Rand, and of course, a Croyer. Kelly Jones draws the inside. Early Kelly Jones art. You like you some Batman Kelly Jones with the super duper long ears and 8,000 ribs for some reason. You can grab a raw copy of this on eBay for a whopping $1 to $3. If you really want a slab, this is your time. The year-long GPA for a CGC 9.8 is $40.
Wow.
Almost the slabbing cost. This version of Micronauts ran for 20 issues, and it was written by Peter Gillis, not Bill Mantlo. Peter Gillis, unfortunately, sadly passed away last week.
Oh.
So we want to remember him and his runs on Defenders. He did a fill-in issue of Captain America, which was a really cool mystery. Cap wakes up with a different face and doesn't know why he has a different face. It's a really good issue. So we want to remember Peter B. Gillis. He also wrote Doctor Strange for a while. So that's why we brought this up. So Godspeed, Peter. And we move on to our underrated books of the week. Richard, what do you got?
My pick this week is a comic book from 1984. I could have saved this for the old fart rule. Uh,
Hmm.
it's called Normal Man, Normal Man #1 from Aardvark Vanaheim back in 1984. This is a very strange book, and the reason why I found or I'm talking about this book is I found an ash can of this book on eBay today for $7.50, which I thought was incredible.
Speaking of ash cans earlier.
Yeah, this is Aardvark Vanaheim, who's also the publisher, primarily known for the publisher of Cerebus the Aardvark. Um, this is their first color book. Jim Valentino does the story, he does the cover, does the art. This Normal Man is a guy who is a normal human being, finds himself on a planet where everybody has superpowers. Everybody. So he's special because he's not special. It's a very interesting twist. The character originated in a 4-page backstory in Cerebus 56 and 57. This is his first time with the title, and it's the artwork is okay. The story is funny. It's a very pierce the fourth wall every page kind of tongue-in-cheek story. Nothing serious. The villains though are really funny, and it's a great story. Takes place on the planet Levram, which is Marvel spelled backwards. Series ran for 12 issues before petering out. Like I said, I found an ash can. An ash can is basically a copy the publisher puts out just to drum up interest in the actual issue when it comes out. So normally ash cans are not the full story; they're just a few pages of it to get interest going. We'll see it. I've got this on its way. When it gets here, well, I'll show it. I went and looked on the census, and there are a total of 3 books on the census, the highest being an 8.5. It's a signature series too, which is interesting. If I ever come across Jim Valentino at a con, I definitely would love to have him sign the ash can. There's no GPA sales at all for this book. So okay, so this book is not popular. Maybe it's just me that has fond memories of this book from back in the day, but apparently nobody else does. But you know what? I collect for myself, not necessarily for the rest of the world. So this book is always to me, it's a cool book.
Indirectly responsible for Jim Valentino being one of the original Image 7 because
Really?
he was drawing and writing Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel at that time when Liefeld and McFarlane and Larson and everybody decided to leave. And Liefeld insisted Jim Valentino be part of the crew, even though his art was not, as fan favored-y as everyone else's, because he had experience with self-publishing. And so it's a kind of a good lesson for you young kids out there. Everything is incremental.
Mhm.
Stuff you think is not going to matter now, an experience you have now can lead to something bigger, like millions of dollars from Shadowhawk #1s being sold. So
Definitely.
yeah, it's a good lesson in business. Little things you do give you the experience to move on to big things. Like my underrated book, Our Army at War 151, the first appearance of Enemy Ace, Richard.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Enemy Ace, the World War I fighter pilot for the enemy, Germany. But he has a strange sense of honor. Godspeed, person I just shot out of the sky. You are a worthy opponent. Awful German accent. This is a major DC war key that doesn't seem to get any love. Is it because he's not on the cover, Richard? Is that why?
That's probably why. If
I
if,
mean,
if there was he was there on the cover, I guarantee you it'd have more reception.
there's a burning, flaming question mark on the cover. That's not good enough.
Apparently
Who,
not.
who? It says. Look at that black cover. Oi, my. I think that's the reason why a CGC 9.2, the highest graded sale in GPA ever, last sold in 2012 for $1,825 for a 9.2. Could you imagine if there was a higher grade?
Oh boy, yeah.
And even in this rough market, the most recent high grade sale was for an 8.0, which sold in January of this year for, wait for it, $361. That's a big discrepancy, is it not?
That is huge. It's that grading curve. It's a tough one.
Enemy Ace, Richard. This seems to be in your wheelhouse. It's World War One, though.
No, I love Enemy Ace. I don't own any currently. I have in the past.
Mhm.
It's as you said. It's about about the enemy. Hence the title. And but it's a good story.
It's tough to have crossovers with Enemy Ace if
Yeah.
you're, you
Yeah.
know, Sergeant Rock and Enemy Ace together for the first time. Who will die?
Right. Enemy Ace. He had his own ongoing series. Do you know how many issues that one?
He didn't have his own series. He was in our, he was a backup in our Army at War. Then they moved him over, I believe, to Star Spangled Comics, and then Men of War in the 70s. So he never had his own book.
Huh. I could have sworn.
Well, in the 90s, 80s, there was a couple, there was a George Pratt mini graphic novel and a mini series. He was a cover feature. I mean, it was kind of like, Sergeant Rock was in Our Army at War until issue 301.
Mhm.
So, people considered it a Sergeant Rock title. So that was a quick edit to make sure that I wasn't just being a blowhard know it all. Yes, we confirmed it. He ran in Our Army at War and then Star Spangled War stories.
Mhm.
I haven't owned one of these.
No.
And I like my war keys, right down to Mademoiselle Marie.
But see, the problem is there is you're looking through long boxes and you come to the war box, and there is a bunch of books in there, of which 98% are worth the cover price. A
Yeah,
dollar or two, let's say, being generous. But then you come across a book like this. I don't have the encyclopedic memory to remember issue 151 is the first appearance of Enemy Ace,
just
for example.
remember the flaming question mark. All right, and on that note, we're going to wrap it up for a Monday episode. Members, we will see you Wednesday and Thursday. Thanks, Richard.
Thanks, John. Everybody, stay safe.